Hello there, I'm Thomas Hatsios, a British American pilot in the United States Air Force, flying the Boeing 737-300 ERX international flight from Zurich International Airport with Germany, flying Zurich, Switzerland, Germany, and then coming back to the Zurich International Airport. Runway 14 for my Lszh localizer landing. So right now I'm in the cockpit for the pre-takeoff preparation of the Boeing 737-300 ERX of the PMGG simulation and Microsoft Flight Simulator X. So I'm gonna start showing you the cockpit instruments and the display of the Boeing 737-300ER airplane. I'm gonna start with the primary flight display that displays the airspeed indicated, the ground speed, the airspeed selected from the autopilot and flight director system panel, the radio altitude above the ground level, the magnetic heading and track. We have the magnetic north pole and the true north pole and the magnetic variation depending on where we are in the world. We have the barometric altitude above the sea level and the target altitude selected from the autopilot and flight director system panel. We have the rate of climb, descent, tape in 10,000 feet per minute. We have the altitude indicator with the pitch liner in decrease and the bank angle in decrease, and also the flight director for manual guidance of the aircraft, the autopilot for automatic guidance of the aircraft, and the angle of attack of the aircraft, the autopilot, and also the flight mode annunciator with the autopilot and the autopilot later on vertical navigation mode. We have the navigation display that displays the airport's waypoints and navigates. We have the terrain weather radar display with the weather reflections and the terrain reflections. We have the GPS map. We have also the magnetic heading and track again. We have the next waypoint. We're going to be overflying the wind speed, the direction, the magnetic north pole and the true north pole, magnetic variation again. The position of the aircraft, the GPS position. We have the RMP, the AMP, the required navigation performance, and the acquired navigation performance. We have also, you can see here, the primary flight display with the flight mode annunciator and the navigation display, the autopilot and flight director system panel, the upper and the lower ACAS and the indication controller system, the thrust levers, the flaps, the speed brakes, the parking brakes, the horizontal trim, stabilizer of the tail, and also here we have the control wheel and the control column, the yoke of the Boeing 777 we use for steering the airplane, and also the rudder pedals also for steering the aircraft. For the flight controls like the elevator, pitch up and pitch down, the ailerons and the spoilers left and right, bank rolls, and also the rudder pedals for the rudder, the vertical stabilizer. Also we have the flight management computer over here. On the overhead panel we have the electrical system, the hydraulics, the fuel system, the pumps and the cabin pressurization and the pressurizer. So I'm gonna continue with the autopilot and flight director system panel that contains the autopilot engage and disengage switches, the auto throttle left and auto throttle right, engage and disengage switches, the airspeed select node for selecting the airspeed guidance of the aircraft with the flight level change. The glide continues, and the auto throttle hold switch with the speed mode also. The LNAV and the VNAV, the lateral navigation and the vertical navigation of the aircraft. We have the fixed thrust mode for fixed thrust like climb continuous with maximum continuous thrust, or idle thrust for descent, and we have the variable thrust modes like cruise and approach and landing for variable thrust. From the turbofan turbojet engine, we have the General Electric 90 to G90 turbofan turbojet engines installed in our airplane, the Boeing 777-300ER, one in the left wing and one in the right wing, for symmetrical thrust and redundancy. So I'm gonna show you also that we have the heading select node and the heading hold switch, and also the bank angle select indicator. For the autopilot we have also the rate of climb, descent of the aircraft in tens, hundreds and thousands of feet per minute, and the slider we can adjust adjust this indication, uh, the target value for the rate of climb descent, or trigonometric angle in degrees, like 2 or 3 degrees of climb or descent flight path angle. So we have also the altitude select knob, select switch, and the altitude select knob, the target altitude of the aircraft, and also we have the board localizer for the Lszh localizer and approach, and also the approach switch for the auto launch function of the Boeing 777-300ER autopilot. So I'm gonna show you all these systems. I'm gonna continue then with the thrust levers. I will show you how to adjust the thrust levers to produce thrust necessary for the aircraft from takeoff to climb, then cruise, then descent and approach, and then for landing. I'm gonna show you how to adjust also the auto thrust system and the auto throttle in conjunction with the autopilot function in the flight director, and also the flight management guidance computer, the FMC, the flight management computer of the aircraft. We're gonna input all the data of the airplane, like its total weight. We're gonna have the takeoff, the fuel on board, the passenger and the cargo weight, and also it's gonna make the takeoff gross weight, the taxi fuel we use for taxiing to the runway, and the reserve fuel for this flight. So we're gonna have the maximum takeoff. We're gonna have the takeoff weight, the gross takeoff weight, which for this flight is below the maximum gross takeoff weight. So I'm gonna show you also that we're gonna input the departure runway and airport, and the seats, the starter instrument, departure, and intermediate waypoints and fixes for vertical and lateral navigation, guidance of the aircraft, and the destination. We're gonna select the destination airport and runway for arrival with the stars, the standard terminal arrival fixes and waypoints, and also the Lszh localizer. So we're gonna see all these things. Then I will continue with the flight theory of the aircraft. I will explain you how much what are going to be the breeze speed, the takeoff speed, and also the flap settings and the horizontal tail trim stabilizer for takeoff. And also I'm going to show you the flight controls of the aircraft, how to operate them, how to have a steering control of the aircraft in flight. And then I'm going to come in the overhead panel, show you the electrical system, the hydraulic, the electronic engine control for the engines, the flight control computers, the ADIRU, the Air Data Inertial Reference Unit. We have also the fuel tanks, the left wing, right wing, and center tank, and the pumps, the forward and the aft pumps for the fuel, also the crosswind valves and the fuel control switches for the engines. I'm going to show you also how to start the engines using this system, electronic engine control and fuel system, and also I'm going to show you the wing and engine radials, the cabin pressurization system, and the bleeder from the engine we use for cabin pressurization, wing and engine radials, hydraulic reservoir pressurization, and also ventilation of the cabin and air conditioning. So this is all we're going to see tonight. So thank you very much one more time for joining me in this flight. I'm Thomas Hatsios, British American pilot of the United States Air Force, flying the Boeing 777-300ER tonight's flight. So I'm gonna start now with the displays and the functions of the cockpit of the Boeing 777. So we're gonna have like about an hour, 8 minutes more for this flight. So you can see the outside layout. So I'm gonna start with the primary flight display. You can see here the airspeed indicator is 30 knots, but the actual is 0, the ground speed, because we're not moving. We have the target airspeed selected for the autopilot flight director system panel displayed with purple. The altitude selected. Here the barometric altitude, this is the altitude tape. We have the barometric pressure of the outside atmosphere, 39.92 inches of mercury. The magnetic heading and track, the magnetic the heading select here 360 degrees, the radio altitude above the ground level, the pitch liner in degrees. You can see the 2.5 degrees peak marks, 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10. Over here -10, -20. So we have 10, 12.5, 15, 17.5, and 20 degrees. And we have the bank angle also like 45, 30, 25. So we can select the bank angle limits also, besides the pitch or climb and descent. Here you can see the target altitude. We have also the rate of climb and descent over here, this state. So moving this needle up above this altitude line, the barometric altitude line, you have a climb, the aircraft climb. So moving the needle below, the aircraft descends. So you can know whether you have a climb or a descent of the aircraft when you're flying by watching this needle. If you move the flight controls like this, to make a 5 descent or bank roll. So you can also have here in the navigation, we have the flight mode annunciator with the autopilot and the auto throttle navigation modes. We have also the flight director with the autopilot here. You can see the crossbars of the flight director here now, or the autopilot if we engage the autopilot in some marks and modes. So we have also you can select here the barometric pressure for inches of mercury or hectopascals, and also to display the meters over here, this switch. So we have now, instead of inches of mercury, we have 1013 hectopascals. We have the display of the meters here, 436 or 1430 feet, and 10,000 feet target altitude, or 3050 meters. So we have the display of the navigation display here. You can see the terrain, the reflections from the weather and terrain. So you can see the terrain level 6,100 feet with red, determined with yellow, and 0 is the level ground. So you can see here is the switch line. You can see the airports, the name of the airport here. That's also our airport here, and the mark. You can see the distance records in nautical miles. So you can see the elevation of the ground. You can see here is the Switzerland, here is the France, here is Germany. So we're gonna be overflying over here this area. You can see magnetic heading and track again, magnetic North Pole and true North Pole, and the magnetic variation depending where we are in the world. We can select here magnetic or true north, like this. So here we have the difference through magnetic. We can select here also the indicated values of the autopilot. By director, you turn off one auto throttle, like this. You will see auto throttle left is off right now. Auto throttle left off. You will see the warning. We have the other auto throttle off, the right auto throttle off. You will see auto throttle right over here. So we turn on both auto throttle system. We have the flight director on and off. This is the flight level change. So we'll select an airspeed like 200. 53, you can select indicated airspeed in nautical miles per hour or Mach. Climb continues, auto throttle hold, LNAV, LNAV, VNAV. This is connected with you press this or pressing this like this. You can select another mode. So we will select also the heading track. The bank angle limit is auto or 35 degrees. We can select this one also, just select it like this. And the heading of the runway we're gonna use for takeoff, we'll select. Then we're gonna have automatic selection. We're gonna use the LNAV. So we have the hold also here. Flight level change with hold. We have one more indication here, vertical speed, flight path angle. You can select descent like this, or climb like this, so you will see the difference. We have the hold for the altitude, so one mode disconnects the other. So like this, you're gonna have minus is descent, plus you have to move the slider up. Over here, the slider is gonna be moving down or up. So this also can be moved. And we select, so we're gonna have the selection now displayed. You can see 25,300 here, heading hold, flight path angle. So we have different mode now selected. This is barometric altitude here, the setting 1430 feet, 1013 hectopascals, and target airspeed 253 knots, nautical miles per hour. For manual flying, not autopilot connected, we have the flight director on. So we can change again these values. We can select. We have the flight path angle 3.5 degrees. So 3.5 degrees, the FPA is gonna display here the 3.5 degrees between 2.5 and 5. It's gonna be this pitch angle, flight path angle. So we can select also. Another one is vertical speed, like descending. You will see the minus sign in front. If you climb, you will have the plus sign in front. 3,500. So we have now the 3,500, the tick mark here. So you can see also the flight director is different now. For this pitch angle, it's above 12 degrees after takeoff. So we'll use now the flight level change instead and connect the autopilot. You will have the autopilot connected like this. Okay. So you can disengage by moving these switch here. So the autopilot is disconnected. We have the warning, and the autopilot over here is disconnect. So we reconnect this autopilot engage, press the green here live. So we have the flight level change and the autopilot connected. And see setting hold, flight level change speed. For this only the autopilot connected. So maybe we make one more selection, the altitude hold. So you can see the altitude is gonna have the target altitude and the airspeed. Maybe we can select inches of mercury instead of hectopascals here. So we have the standard barometric pressure of the mercury column, heading and altitude, and we go back. We have the Ilsloc or localizer here, and the approach for the auto. So we press the flight level change again. Now we have the autopilot heading hold, flight level change speed for this altitude and this airspeed. So it's gonna generate this request after takeoff. And now we have maybe show you again how this disengages the autopilot like this. We have the warning, cancel the warning, engage the autopilot here. So you can disengage, use the control wheel, this small switch here. This disconnects also the autopilot. As you can see, autopilot disconnected over here, and we didn't confirm the disconnection like this. So now we have the control here. Now that the autopilot was disconnected, then I will come. We have like 30 minutes left for these explanations for the overhead panel, also the flight controls and the thrust levers. How to adjust the thrust levers, the speed brakes here, you can see. We have the auto throttle disconnect here. This is the takeoff go around switch here. If you press this switch like this, it will arm the auto thrust system for the takeoff. So we need to disengage. Move it back. So we disconnected the takeoff go around mode. So hope you like it until now. So I'm gonna come to the thrust levers. So you can see the thrust levers also can move one by themselves like this. You can move half symmetric or asymmetric thrust like this. You will see moving differently. The one is 44, 45, the other is 37. You can see it's not the same like this. So if I move the one up, it will be even more. It will be like 51, 53 over here, 37 the other. So you can see the difference of the angle that I move the thrust levers, and then move them back. So you have to be careful how you apply this. Symmetric thrust. Also, here's the flaps. You can see I can move the flaps up and then down. This is not related to the thrust levers, it's secondary flight controls. You can see the flap positions here, the landing gear here is down over here. Also the alternate gear. You can select terrain override like this. The auto brake. This is the auto brakes here. And the flap limit. So you can see the speeds, the request. We have also the flight management computers here. You can see, I will show you later. The ACAS, the upper and the lower ACAS, what it displays from the engines, indications when we move the engines. Also we have this is the horizontal tail trim stabilizer. I will talk to you later about that. The fire control system for the engines, and the fuel control, left and right engine, on and off the fuel flow. We have also the pitch stream, the normal and the alternate. You can use the pitch stream using this pitch stream switch over here. Pitch up and pitch down on the horizontal tail nose. We have the aileron trim here, so you can see the aileron and the rudder trim here. You can set it here, the rudder trim and the aileron trim, and you'll see the rudder trim position here in the crease. Also you will see here is nose down and nose up. Also the parking brake. So you have the normal and the alternate, horizontal tail trim stabilizer, and this is the trim, you disconnect the trim from the auto throttle, and the auto thrust, the CMDR hydraulic fails. You have the normal and the cutout. So this trim and this trim over here, you will have only the manual function. You won't have the automatic, the auto trim, in case you have a C or R hydraulic fluid failure. So you can set the trim here, or here you see only the manual trim setting. You won't have the autopilot trim connect. So the electric trim of the airplane. So I'll tell you about the thrust levers. I can move the thrust levers up and down to adjust the thrust. You can see also the speed brakes here. We will move the thrust levers when the speed brakes are extended from the aisle. The speed brakes retract automatically. So if I move the thrust reverse now, the reverse thrust, the speed brakes extends automatically also. So you see the reverse thrust now, and the thrust reverses. The blocker doors here open, and they reverse the flow of the air from the bypass section of the turbofan-turbojet engine. So we can cancel this reverse thrust. We can open them again. The thrust reverses. So we cancel the thrust reverse and extend again. And also the front side. You can see the turbofan engines. Retract the thrust reverse and the speed brakes and extend them again. Like this. So we'll have to start talking to you about the thrusts over here, the indications of the thrust levers. You can see we have the N1, which is the low speed shaft and rotor, the low pressure compressor and turbine of turbofan turbojet engines. We have the G90, the General Electric 90 turbofan turbojet engines, the exhaust gas temperature. You can see some warnings here, some other indications, other systems. Also the duct pressure, the outflow pressure from the turbofan turbojet engine, the pressurizer, and the cabin pressurization system that is also on board. You can see the Boeing 777, the mark here, and we have the N2, which is the high-speed rotor and shaft, the high-pressure compressor and turbine on the turbofan turbojet engine, the fuel flow per engine per hour, the oil pressure, temperature, quantity, and the vibration of the turbofan turbojet engine. So this is the things you need to know about the thrust levers. You can move them forward like this. So the turbofan turbojet engines I will talk to you about now. We have two turbofan turbojet engines installed in this airplane. The G90, General Electric 90. We use them for moving the aircraft forward, generate forward propulsion, and then we create the lift necessary for the aircraft to fly using the wings, the lift from the wings. So the lift force from the wings overcomes the weight of the aircraft, like the mass of the aircraft times the acceleration of the Earth's gravity. Also the thrust from the engine's propulsion overcomes the Skinner friction into the aircraft, the stationary, static, and also the kinetic Skinner friction. So we have the four main forces of flight balanced like this. I'm gonna start showing you now the rest of the flight theory. So we have, as I told you, two turbofan turbojet engine, one in the left wing, one in the right wing for symmetrical thrust and redundancy. Each engine has a gearbox in the side, which receives torques from the engine torque, rotational torque, maybe to rotate some some uh, some instruments like the Fadecs. They have their own electric power, so we have the Fadecs installed in the gearbox. The Fadecs are the full authority electronic control computers, one installed in the left wing and one in the right wing gearbox. For the full authority electronic control computers that control and navigate and monitor all the indication and the function you see from the turbofan temperature engines like the N1. The N1 is the uh, low speed starter and soft. The low pressure compressor and turbine of the turbofan turbojet engine, the exhaust gas temperature per engine, the pressure, the outflow air pressurizer from the turbofan turbojet engine 5th and 9th stage. Also the N2, which is the high speed rotor and shaft, the high pressure compressor and turbine of the turbofan turbojet engine. The fuel flow per engine per hour, the oil pressure, oil quantity, oil temperature, and the vibration of the N2 stage of the engine. So they also monitor uh, uh, and control the engine start, engine shut down. If we have a failure, they generate the warnings. Also, the control the fuel air mixture, so also the pressure inside the engine. We have an overpressure inside the engine. They open the outflow valves into higher states to relieve the pressure inside the engine. We have an underpressure that can close it, so they increase the pressure inside the engine. Also, this regulates the fuel air mixture. So if we have the aircraft flying to higher altitudes, we have lower air pressure and lower air temperature and also lower oxygen levels. Also, the aircraft flies with higher airspeed, so we have a higher rate of air mass coming into the engine from the front fan stage into the compressor for compression and then for burn into the burner stage. So this we need to have a different fuel mixture every moment, every second. So this is controlled by the computers, the FADECs, the full authority electronic control computers also optimize the fuel efficiency of the aircraft, and they are interconnected with the signals from the autopilot and the autothrottle system, the autothrust and the flight director, and also the flight management computer, which we use for the LNAV and the VNAV. The lateral and vertical navigation to generate automatic thrust requests, or we can set the airspeed as I saw in the autopilot to generate this thrust request. So the approach and landing also we have different requests. So it's a good thing to have the FADECs, the full authority electronic control computers installed in your aircraft. I'll talk to you now about the flight theory of the airplane. So I will talk to you about how much fuel on board we have and the takeoff weight we're gonna have for takeoff, and also how many flap settings we need to use, how many degrees, and the horizontal trim stabilizer of the horizontal tail, and you need to adjust a proportional thrust from the engines for these functions. So you can see here we have the flight management computer, so we're gonna make the calculations for the takeoff speeds, the V speed, the V1, the rotate, and the V2. So for this aircraft right now, the Boeing 777-300ER, with this weight, we have about 245,000 kilograms of takeoff weight, or about 521,000 pounds, which is below the maximum takeoff weight. So we have about 30% of fuel on board, which is less than maximum takeoff weight for this aircraft. We also have about 30,000 kilograms of passenger and cargo on board, which is below the maximum takeoff weight also. So we have all these. So for this aircraft, for this weight, we have 530, 5,000, 531,000 pounds, or 245,000 kilograms of takeoff weight. We're gonna need 15 degrees of flaps and about 4 degrees of horizontal tail trim stabilizer, nose speeds up trim moment. So uh, we're gonna need to take off with all these settings and this weight at an airspeed of about 154 nautical miles per hour, or 154 knots, or 270 kilometers an hour. Just for takeoff, maybe we're gonna need higher airspeed for than for flying, and for cruise and descent and approach. It depends also on our flap variant, and also as we consume time, we consume fuel in flight. So our weight becomes less and less as we climb higher and then descend for approach. So during the takeoff, we need to overcome the stall speed. The stall speed, we can make the aircraft wings stall and generate the necessary lift force that is going to make the aircraft climb into the air. Also, we need to have the necessary uh, lift from the wings. I'm going to talk to you about now the flight theory of the aircraft. So I'm going to talk to you about the Newton's first, second, and third law of kinematics of motion. I'm going to talk to you about the Bernoulli theory of fluids, also aeronautical and aerospace engineering, and generate some equations and explanation about how the aircraft flies using its wings and the propulsion system from the engines, the forward propulsion. So I'm gonna show you now the outside view, also about the center of gravity, and about the pitch stream of the horizontal tail and the vertical tail. So also the ailerons and the spoilers, how you control the flight controls of the aircraft. So you can see here we have about 30 more minutes left before starting the engines and flying. So you can see the aircraft, the Boeing 777. You can see the wings. You can see the engines are positioned here symmetrically through this vector, which is the longitudinal vector that transverses the center of gravity vector, and also the lateral vector from wingtip to wingtip. So you can see the symmetric thrust vectors from the engines, the propulsion generated to move the aircraft forward. Here we have the mean aerodynamic chord of the wing, which is about 35% of the wing chord. It's the position where the maximum aerodynamic lift or aerodynamic pressure is being created in the wings. It's also the position where the stall, the air mass of the airflow becomes detached from the wing, and we have the stall in the top section of the wing, so the air mass detached from the wing. So we have also the center of gravity of the aircraft here positioned in the same position, approximately here, so we can move the center of gravity forward or after mean aerodynamic chord position by moving passenger, fuel, and cargo around this airliner lever arm. So we have also the lever arm. You can see the front, the intake from the engines as the spinners rotate, they compress the air into the engine. They suck air from the front and they eject it from behind by burning fuel. So we have the position of all these things. We have also the movement arm, it's the lever arm from the tail of the aircraft. The horizontal and the vertical tail we'll talk to you about now. So you can see the bottom, this is the wings of the airplane, the airfoil that generate the lift force. So you can see the bottom surface of the wings, generally speaking, is more flat than the top surface. We'll use also the flaps also to increase the surface area of the wings for this purpose. So you can see the surface area of the wings holds the weight of the aircraft in total. You can divide the aircraft weight, you can divide it over the surface area of the wing while the aircraft flies. So that's why you use also the center of gravity and the moment arms from the deflection of the ailerons and the spoilers or the tail. horizontal tail and vertical tail to make the aircraft steer and fly. So you can see the bottom surface of the wings more flat. You can generate more lift. So you can have the airflow of the air mass as the aircraft accelerates for takeoff moves slower below the wing. So we have higher air pressure that pressurizes the aircraft up into the air as the aircraft accelerates. Then we have the top surface. You can see the top surface has more curvature than the bottom surface. So the airflow of the air mass from the leading edge all the way back to the trailing edge is moving faster above the wing. So we have lower air pressure above the wing that generates an air suction that sucks the aircraft up into the air. So we have positive higher air pressure below the wing, lower airspeed of the airflow, which pressurizes the aircraft up into the air below the wing. And then we have the negative air pressure, higher airflow of air mass above the wing, which sucks the aircraft up into the air. So this is explained by the Bernoulli theory of fluid. Also we have now we have the moment arm. I told you, you can see the moment arm is times the distance from the center of gravity all the way back to the horizontal tail. You can see the surface area is times the surface area of the horizontal tail or the elevator you can climb and descend. So it's times the moment arm of the delivery arm is times the distance from the center of gravity all the way back to the horizontal or vertical tail. Stabilizer over the surface area times the airflow of the air mass per second as the aircraft accelerates, and it's also times the acceleration of the air gravity depending on where we are in the world. So this can make the aircraft climb up or climb down, and also bang roll left and bang roll right by deflecting the airflow of the air mass and generating moment arm forces. So this is the general explanation of the forces of the aircraft. Transverse over here and pitch up and pitch down at the nose of the airplane. So, and also bang rolls. So you can use the flight controls. Now I'll talk to you about the flight controls. I will show you what I use for controlling. I use the side stick for controlling the yoke of the Boeing 737 airplane. So I can climb and descend. I can also bang roll left and bang roll right. So you have full flight controls, deflection, and also stability in the as you fly. So I will show you now the side stick, and I'll also show you the outside view of the flight control, what you can do with the side stick here in this simulation. So you can see here I'm having the side stick, the Lszh Extreme 3D. I can hold neutral, I can climb, and I can descend. I can move the yoke up and down as I'm flying. Also bang roll left and bang roll right, and also move the rudder pedals over here like this, left and right, and pitch up and pitch down the horizontal tail trim stabilizer. So you have full control. You can see the deflection of the side stick is proportional to the yoke deflection. So now I'm gonna show you. You can see also we have the thrust levers over here. So you have the thrust levers forward and aft for adjusting the thrust also. So now I'm gonna show you the outside view of the flight controls, how to adjust the flight controls from the outside view using the same principles. So you can see here we have the airplane again. So you can see now we have this side stick deflection again. You can see it's moving proportional to the side stick, the yoke, and the flight controls here, like the elevator and the rudder. So you can climb, you can descend, bang roll left and bang roll right. You can hold neutral and use the horizontal tail trim and the thrust levers. The flight controls explanations including I'm gonna show you the overhead panel and make the engine start demonstration. So in this view now for the engine start. So we have 30 more minutes for showing the overhead panel. And you can see we have the Adiru here, we have some systems. The Adiru we have, I'm gonna show you maybe this view. You can see the overhead upper panel over here. You can see the switch. This is for disconnecting the hydraulic fluid from the flight controls and ground. We have the circuit breakers over here for resetting them if we have a failure of some systems. You can see the systems like the left engine here, the captain display, some other instruments like the circle, the communication. So this is over here. You can see we have this nice view over here inside the cockpit. So we have this also, this view here, the speed brake system. The flap position. You can set the flaps for takeoff like 15 degrees. We have cut-off switch for the fuel control, the fire extinguishers here. You can see again the displays of the autopilot in a more flat surface like this. One more time, and the displays here. So I will show you the overhead panel. Now we have the Adiru gear data here in Excel reference unit. I'm gonna start on the APU like this over here. You can see we have the flight control computers, the thrust oscillator, compensator on and off, the battery. You can see the electrical here, the battery. In the APU we have the left engine and the right engine, the brake drive generator and the backup generator. So we have here is the hydraulic, we have the passenger oxygen, the window sheet. So we disconnect like this, the hydraulics here, 1, 2, 3, 4, this left and right engine and the backup primary and the demand. So you will see some warnings here coming up. So we're gonna have the faults over here generated from the hydraulic itself. Also we need to disconnect everything. So we're gonna lose fuel pumps on the right, hydraulic pressure, primary C1. So we have the APU maybe on, that's why it's not generating so much, so many failures. So we turn them off to this. Now we're gonna have the fault. So you will see all the systems now that use hydraulic pressure generate a warning here coming up. So we have the failures in autoland, flight controls, fuel pump, hydraulic pressure system, spoilers, large memory, stabilizer, we lose the stabilizer, and you can see the alternate hydraulic pressure demands 2. It's coming up. So we have the alternate flap, so we need to reset the hydraulic here on 1, 2, 3. We have the left and right engine on, and then to the auto. So you will see the fault message goes up like this. So here we have the lighting system of the aircraft over here. You can see why right. This is cargo fire, electronic engine control for the engine, normal alternate, the auto start system here, left engine, right engine, about to be normal. Controls the footage, so you can dump some fuel here, select how much fuel to remain. See also in the display if you want this. We have the sender tank, left wing, right wing tank, the forward and the aft pumps. Also you can see the sender tank is empty, that's why it has this warning, the pressure. The wing and engine on the ice on auto, like this. I can see the cabin pressurization system here. We have the bleeder from the left and the right engine and the FPU. So the cabin pressurization, you can use auto or disconnect to the manual, and then use the climb and descend, open or close the outflow valves and select the landing altitude. So we select the auto, but we can turn off here now the bleeder, the pressurizer system. You will see we'll lose the cabin pressurization. We need the APU for starting the engine, so we're gonna have some systems failing here in the display as warnings. You can see bleeder, isolation, lost body, lost wing, and the duct pressure. So we have no cabin pressurization now. Also the hydraulic C1 and C2 with demand is off, so we need to reset everything here. Also we need this for starting the engine afterwards. So this is all in all the overheat panel of the Boeing 777. Now we go over here, over to the lower panel. We have the CPU in this display, and we have like maybe 4 more minutes for starting the flight. So display on. Display, we have the engine, the status, you can see the APU is running, the hydraulics, we have the normal menu before start, what we need to do, complete all these sections here, 1, 2, 3, 4, the non-normal menu, we have a failure, the communications here, navigation, the doors, you can see the doors are closed and the cabin is pressurized, the gear, you can see the pressure inside the tires and the temperature of the brakes, the electric, we have the left wing and the right wing, and the backup generator shows the APU and the voltage of the batteries, and it's charging. We have the hydraulic, you can see the pressure from the left and the right hydraulic pumps, from the engines, also the backup, and also where the hydraulic fluid goes, and the pressure from the C1 and C2, the fuel on board, left wing, right wing, total fuel, left wing engine, right wing engine, and the low and high pressure fuel valves, forward and aft pumps, and the center tank is empty. You can see the yellow crosses and the 0 temperature, minimum fuel temperature, and the APU is fed from the left wing with the DC motor. Also we have the left wing and the right wing high pressure bleeder, the APU we're gonna use for starting the engine, and the C1, C2 hydraulic here connection. If we move the engines forward, increase the engine thrust, you will see the hydraulic pressure also, the duct pressure, excuse me, the bleeder increases accordingly. So you can see here we have the flight controls, which is the last section. You can see we can move, extend the speed brakes and move the flight controls around. You will see all the surfaces and the limits they have if they have a malfunction. So if we move around one of these, it will move accordingly over here. So also the rudder pedals and the other side like this. So this is all in all for these indications and the flight controls. Now we have to go back to the engines. virtual cockpit, so we're gonna need to turn off the engines now and make an auto start. So turn off both fuel cathode. You will see engine fall down here the message, and the M1 decreases respectively. The tach pressure also, M2 flow 0, so we need to restart the engine. We're gonna turn on the auto start here, left and right wing this section. So we're gonna have, you can see the engines now are off, both of them. We're gonna start having the pressure. So we need the bleeder pressure like this. So it's gonna start moving now. Bleeder from the APU. It will take maybe a minute. Now we need to restart. So now we're gonna have the restart. You can see the engine. Now we have the pressure from the APU building up inside the fans. Start rotating the right and the left wing spinner, because we have the APU intake now. We have no fuel yet. So we have mini 1 exhaust gas temperature. You can see fuel flow 0. So we need to turn on both fuel flow. When the N2 is above 30%, we're gonna have the engine spinning. We're going to have fuel flow, and here we go. Both engines spin. You can see we can go now. You can see the spinner increases. Now one last section here left, and we have 18 more minutes for this flight. So we need to make this the menu. We have the FNC, the model, position, initialize, Lszh, this airport, reference airport, gross weight 0, fuel weight, gross weight, reserve 5%, cruising altitude 35,300 feet. We have the cost index 100%, the route Lszh, back to Lszh, and the runway 14. So we have the departure and the arrival, runway 14, arrival over here, Lszh 14, Transnegria 1 Alpha, and Transamity. So we activate and execute, and we have the whole complete route. So center flaps here, flaps 15 degrees, center of gravity 26, and you can see the V-speed 133, 140, 154 for this takeoff weight. And now we're ready for takeoff. Everything is set. So we disarm the parking brakes and go. Now you can see we have pretty much we can taxi into the runway now. Over here. Let's thrust now in some parking brakes. And you can see the runway is empty. We start steering here. Advance the thrust levers and then use this steering wheel here and the rudder pedals. So we move into the runway. So we align with the runway. For the navigamos, the LNAV, we have it here. You can see the scan from the radar. We advance the thrust reverse forward. The flaps are set. So if I look from outside where we are right now, you can see our position, and we have left like during the runway for takeoff. We have left like disarm the parking brakes, and we have like 15 more minutes for this video. So we accelerate now. 80 knots, 100 knots, 130 knots, V1, V rotate, V2, and we take off. As you can see, we have the takeoff roll. We be careful not hit the ground, not pitch up too much in the takeoff roll. So we have 15 minutes left for this flight. We have a positive rate of climb. Retract running gears here. You can see we are 2,000 feet above the ground level, 2,400, 500, but we are 4,000 above the sea level. We climb with 7,000 feet per minute. Our airspeed is 235 knots. This is the terrain scan here in front of us, the mountains that we have green, red, and yellow, and we have the line we have to follow the track, and the next waypoint will be here. So we start now turning the next waypoint, and we climb up. We trim properly, and we have maximum takeoff thrust now. So we need only to pitch up a little bit. So the first waypoint is for the navigation. We need maybe to climb faster. So you can see where we are now. I will keep climbing. We fly with about 500 kilometers an hour, 250 meters per second. Now 0.4. You see also this making the turn here. This nicer view of the Boeing 777. As we keep climbing, we have also the view here, the Switzerland. So we keep climbing. So we need to steer again. I will keep climbing and also use maybe higher simulation rate maybe. So we're gonna use a higher simulation rate, and we have 12 more minutes left to go for this flight, and to cross through 30,000 feet right now. You can see the thrust requested. Level off a little bit. Maybe retract some flaps. We don't need so many flaps. 31,000 feet. You can see over here but we climbed 33,000. We're 33,000 feet. You can see also now we have the Germany in front of us. You can see we have the stall speed here with red and yellow. We have to avoid the warning. The yellow and the red is stalled. The airspeed 500, 0.52 Mach. So we keep climbing. We are almost 35,000 feet. So we have the chemtrails now and the contrails. Lining up. So we have, this is our spacecraft for tonight, the Boeing 777-300ER. We have the galaxies and the frozen vapors, and we are almost 35,000 feet now. So you can see the St. Gallen, the lake here, and we have the moon in front of us with Germany and the France on this side. So the Germany, we're very close to the Bayern Munich area. So we're gonna start steering back into the airport now. So I hope you like the view of the Germany in front of us. I need to go work. As you can see, we're moving manually. We have the Germany in front of us, the Bayern Munich. We need to make a turn now. Over here, over the lake. You can see steering manually, and we hold here in this altitude. We track all the flaps and increase the airspeed. So we cross this, as you can see. So we fly through 24,900 feet. Hope you like the view of the Boeing 777 as we cross with 900 kilometers an hour, 300 meters a second. Over here, you can see the frozen vapors behind us. Chemtrails and the contrails, and the views from the Swiss Alps. So we cross, you can see the galaxy here. We have this beautiful view of the galaxy. So this is our spacecraft for the night, the Boeing 777-300ER, overflying Switzerland and Germany. And we have the beautiful galactic view here. Over the mountains, so we need to go back to the airport now. So maybe I'm gonna connect the autopilot now. And use so you can see the autopilot connect over here. The legs direct to this waypoint, execute, and the arrival airspeed here. So we have the legs on the runway. We have to fly over here. You can see the autopilot is connected, and we have the approach speed, and we have to fly for this waypoint now. Direct to. This is how stable the aircraft is using the autopilot now. Like this, so we're still having the spacecraft view as we fly through So hope you enjoy the galaxy view. We need to start descent. So we're gonna change the altitude now. And also the airspeed, you can see we are 35,000 feet. So we start descend, we decrease also the airspeed here and hit the flight level change or the vertical speed over here. So we need to use also the speed brakes like this, and we have the descent initiated. So you can see we are descending now over here with the autopilot connected with this. So we approach Zurich here, the airport. Maybe disengage the autopilot like this. And follow our manual guidance, and we have like 3 more minutes left for this flight. We need to use keep descending like this. Also the airspeed need to be less, and so we have 2 more minutes left for this flight, approximately. So we need to make some steering here. As we are descending, we're much closer now to the runway with this manual and automatic guidance. So we can see as we are descending here where we are, we're closer into the ground. So maybe we're gonna have a view from outside. Also reduce the airspeed. So we have the normal simulation rate now. So we adjust the thrust, we're back into the glide slope. As you can see, we are perfectly aligned with the wireless localizer here in the glide slope and the airspeed, the radio altitude above the ground level, the runway in front of us. So we need to descend a little bit more sharp and then hold level for the flare. So here we are. You can see we apply manual flight controls and rudder pedals. So keep descend. We gonna level off for the flare now. Level off. Ready? 10. Here we are. Just touch down. Parking brakes and reverse thrust. Full reverse thrust. As you can see, full